Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Captain Shandy here. I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you very much for visiting my channel and clicking on this video. We're on 2020, F1 2020, I should say, the Codemasters game. We are at Spa in Belgium. Recently done this in my team career mode as well. Managed to scrape a point in 10th place. But here we are online. As you can see, we've got a nice sized grid. Plenty of competitors around us, so let's see how we can get on. We didn't qualify, as you can see, and there's 5 red lights. They're out, we're off, and we are underway as we come into the first tight corner, just trying desperately to avoid anybody trying to find a gap to squeeze through. We do manage to do so. We have a car on our left hand side, though, and he comes past there, Giovate in front of us, and we just tuck in behind, and we also have DV on our back, and as you can see, it's getting a little bit uncomfortable ahead of me, and I don't get the best exit, and DFOR does manage to. I don't know quite where he found that pace from. I know I was a little slow, but he shot past me and Matt the Best, who we have now slipped round the outside and into the inside of the next turn and got our position back in 8th place. Come to think of it, actually, I think I did qualify for this race. I may have just accidentally not recorded it. So, oh, and as we can see there's a big tangle, and he smashed him into the wall there, CTN Fish and somebody else. I didn't quite catch the name, but the two came together, and it didn't work out well for either of them as we go wide, still behind DB4, and yeah, no love lost there between those two. It looked like one tried to actually hit the other. It didn't look like it was a coming together or a racing incident. It looked like perhaps that had been going on for most of the lap thus far, and tempers frayed, and as a result no one came out of that looking too pretty, except us, as we managed to slip between the two cars like Moses parting the sea. It was beautiful for us, but not so much for those involved. But as I say, it has worked out well for us. We come down to the bus stop chicane. No DRS yet, of course, as we come to the end of our first lap. We're in 6th place, just behind DV4, and we do have Shakmat 98, I think that is, in behind us, and well, he wasn't there for very long actually, because we went wide on the opening corner and he slips it up the inside. So fair play to him. Saw the opportunity, nice and clean, nice and quick. It'd been catching me for a while actually, as we lose the back end a little bit there and just have to cut the corner in order to not lose the car completely. If I'd have tried to have readjusted for the actual corner at that speed, it would have ended up in the wall. So just take the corner cut. Didn't get a penalty for it, so that's nice, even though the time is quicker, but it will be, obviously, the sector, because we crossed the line rather than starting it. On it, I should say. So, you know, in P7 again. In behind Shakmat, who seems to be caught up behind DV4 at the moment. We've got Hamacher behind us as well. So we go a little bit wide, get a track exceeded limit warning, and you can see that in front of me there, they're still pretty bunched up. I'm not sure if first place is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe. Looks like it, because I can't see them any further ahead. So those cars that are bunched up behind us, the leader of the pack is right at the front of those, so we're not too far off of the front. Maybe 3, 4, 5 seconds or so, but nothing too major. So we go into Rich Mix. We had the overtake on briefly, but we don't want to kill it, so we come back out of it as we try and catch Shakmat, and we come down to the bus stop chicane. We have half a second on Hamacher at the moment, so that could be a problem shortly as we come up to the DRS zone into lap 3. And we get the car slowed down for the first chicane, take it nice and narrowly this time, not making the same mistake as last time, and get some decent traction on the exit to drive out. And we currently have just over, well, 600th of a second on Amateur, and now 500ths of a second, and he has got the DRS in behind me. So is he going to put us under some pressure here? Maybe he's not close enough. He is closing that gap, closing, but I don't think on this occasion he's going to be close enough to make a move, and he doesn't make an attempt to do so. So we can just take the race in line and carry on about our business. As we do get yellow flags waved in that sector. I see a red car on the mini-map, looks like it may have had some issues. And we've got Amateur and Matt the Best both on our tails at the moment, and we're falling away from that pack at the front. We have gained a position, so I guess somebody ditched themselves out of the race as we go through the twisty section in sector 2. And as you can see, we set the fastest first sector so far and the fastest second sector so far, but we've still got Amateur just over half a second behind us, looking to make a move. We use a little bit of overtake to try and push ourselves out of that corner. We're in Rich Mix and we're looking fairly comfortable at the moment, but as we come down to the bus stop chicane, you can see by proximity arrow he's getting a bit closer, still not close enough to make a move, not close enough for me to even warrant having a little look behind. I could see all I needed to see in the mirror. So we get out of the chicane fairly well, but he's hanging on to the back of us here, Amateur. He's still under a second behind us. We get the car slowed down again, make sure we get into that hairpin nice and tight. And as you can see, we've really started to catch Shakmat and Peely, who have been scrapping a little bit. And as a result, we are now under half a second, well, around half a second behind Shakmat. So we will have the DRS ourselves for the first time in this race and be able to hopefully maybe close the gap to those two and continue to pull out the gap on Amateur. But neither of which is really happening at the moment. All of us had DRS, I think. So as you can see, Peely ghosted there momentarily, and he has actually been overtaken by Shakmat. I think he was holding him up for a while as we get the car slowed down, and we're on the back of Peely now. A little bit tight into the left hander, kicking the back end out, a little bit of a drift on the way through. We have sort of created a little bit of breathing space between us and Amateur, but it's really not much more than we had before, still just over half a second. And we are just under half a second behind Peely as we come into the twisty section once again. We're a bit hot going into the right hander, have to slow down, but we do get it sorted as Peely goes very, very wide. He seems to have some connection issues as well, but we're on the power nicely into fourth gear, into fifth. And we will hit the overtake button briefly. Not go up into Rich Mix this time, because we're just going to sit behind in the slipstream. We're close enough. We don't need to get any closer. We want to be in the DRS zone, really. It's not so much about trying to make the overtake into the bus stop chicane. It's about trying to be within the DRS zone on the next long straight. So we come out, we will get the DRS here, but we're just going to again, we're not going to be close enough to make any sort of moves. We're just going to try and make sure we stay in behind Peely, and as Jeff notifies us there, it's gone very, very quickly, but we are on the final lap of the race, so we get a decent bit of drive out of the right hander. We still have Amateur on our back. He's closer to us than we are to Peely, but we should all get DRS, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. And as you can see, Amateur and Boost Ltd are all both behind us, and we take our eyes off it for a second off the road and end up putting a wheel onto the grass. Is that going to cost us? We come in, we brake late, and no, it's not. We've got enough on these two guys, so we are able to hold them behind us. So through here, we should be fairly comfortable. There's not too many overtaking opportunities here unless you screw up the corner, which I almost did dead, but I managed to get it slowed down in time. But on the final long kinked straight and into the bus stop chicane, that is going to be Peely's last chance, not Peely's, sorry, Amateur's last chance to get ahead of us, and he's currently very much involved in a scrap with Boost. As you can see, less than 100th of a second between them, so they are neck and neck in behind us. We get a track exceed limit warning, turning a little bit early, just adjust it and go down into third gear, revving the absolute hell out of this engine. And we can see we're using overtake, and well, there's been an accident behind me, as you can see. We didn't catch it. Jeff notifies us that it's clear, and it looks like Amateur has had a bad time, and his race is over, and Boost has dropped off as well as Alf 72 comes ahead, and we just stick behind Peely. We're going to cross the line in 6th place, which isn't too bad. I can't complain with that too much. 7th place start, 6th place finish. Competitive lobby, nice and clean race. Not sure I really had any contact with anybody throughout the race, so that was nice to see. As you can see, is Hammett comes across the line. Not quite sure what happened to those guys behind me, but unfortunate for them. And we watched the final few cars come through. But if you did enjoy the race, please subscribe and drop me a like as well. If you're new here, if you're returning, welcome. Thank you very much for coming back. And also, please head over to my main channel. I will leave a link in the description, Captain Shandy, where we talk about current affairs and politics and celebrities and all sorts of things, really. I've got some interesting things coming up on that channel in the coming weeks, so drop over there and drop me a sub as well if you are so inclined. If not, you don't have to. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not your dad, but I'd be forever grateful if you did. And if you want to see more like this, then please drop me a sub on this channel. We have regular F1 racing, some PES, and sometimes some campaign modes of other games, the occasional review. Again, there'll be some tiles at the end of this screen for you to click on if you're interested in any of those. Go and take a look. Be good to keep you around. But in the meantime, people, once again, thank you very, very much for taking the time to watch this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. I do apologise. I'll probably be a little bit more few and far in between with these videos over the next couple of weeks. I've got, as I say, plans for my other channel that I'm putting into works, and I also have a few other things going on in my personal life and things that I need to get done, which are taking up a fair amount of my time and not leaving an awful lot for the PlayStation. But what I will do, I will share with you guys, so please drop me a like, drop me a subscribe, and once again, thank you very much for watching and being here. I look forward to seeing you next time. Anything that you want to say, please leave it in the comments and I will get back to you. And yeah, again, in the meantime, guys, thank you very much for your time. Stay safe and look after yourselves, you absolute fucking legends. Take it easy.